Okay, guys, so the schedule is out. The 2020 football season is at least in motion for right now. Of course, you're going to have your folks that, and I get it, I'm not bad-mouthing these people by any means, because every now and then I'm one of these people myself that says, hey, what are we doing? Why are we even trying to have a football season with this pandemic in place? But the SEC, I guess they've gotten with some medical advisors and decided, look, we're going to at least attempt to do this thing. One, when you look at it from a business standpoint, I mean, the money lost, you're going to lose it anyway, because a lot of the fans are still going to be skeptical as far as a social distancing thing anyway. At the same time, more so, I think the biggest loss will come from the fact that you don't have that season. You don't have that perception that the recruits and the prospects can look at as to whether they want to come and go to your school or not. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. I really hate the fact that a pandemic had to be the situation that gave the type of schedule that I wanted anyway. 10 games, all SEC. I don't have to look at these cupcakes where Auburn struggles against Southern Miss and struggles against, you know what I'm saying? I get to see Auburn play games that matter every week. Because you all know, when Auburn plays Southern Miss, it's somewhat of a medium struggle. A 24-13 win, or playing against Jacksonville State, having to beat them. And I wasn't really in the mood for all that this year. And rightfully so. 10 games, straight SEC, really interesting slate. Auburn starts the season off against a Kentucky team that went 8-5 last year and have a lot of stuff coming back. I think there's a lot of excitement up in Lexington. Kentucky Commonwealth Stadium is where they play, and it's not necessarily an easy place to play. As a matter of fact, Auburn took their Heisman Trophy winner Cam Newton up there, and we're kind of sweating there late in the game as Auburn pulled that one off 34-31. So the difference is Auburn actually welcomes Kentucky down to the Plains. Jordan-Hare Stadium, they call that place the Jungle. And the battle cry, of course, is War Eagle. So that's going to be the season opening game for Auburn and Kentucky. Auburn, if you really look at it, they're accustomed to playing Power 5 teams every year. And under the Gus Malzahn era, there's only been 1 year that Auburn has not played a Power 5 team to begin the season. Strangely enough, in 2014, opening the season with Arkansas. 2015, opening the season up with Louisville. 2016 was the only year. 2017 was the only year that Auburn opened up the season with Georgia Southern, but then the next week having to take on Clemson. So this is a season that Auburn is kind of, these types of schedules are schedules that Auburn is accustomed to. So it's nothing different. Auburn is used to the struggle, is used to the getting kicked in the mouth early in the season with a team that is either a national champion contender or a contender to win a Power 5 conference championship. We're talking about the national champion contender in Clemson, and then we're talking about the Power 5 conference champion contender in Washington and Oregon. So this is a season that Auburn is not really, this is no thing for Auburn. You might have some crybabies like Florida and Georgia, other teams who are not accustomed to getting that work every week. Now they're going to have to get it. And that's just what it is. I like this concept, though. I really like the concept. I like the concept of all SEC schedule is going to be entertaining every week. And for the naysayers out there, which I appreciate you guys as well, and your naysayers for justifiable reasons, assuming the season goes all the way through, this is the season that I really hope for. Because for number one, I wanted Auburn to be able to get revenge against Tennessee. And I'm talking about tangible revenge, not no 5 years later revenge. I'm talking about at least some of the players that played in 2018 are probably still there from when Tennessee came down to Auburn and upset them in a very unlikely fashion. The best SEC win, well, the first of good SEC wins for Jeremy Pruitt, going on the road and catching Auburn napping in a 12 o'clock game in Jordan-Hare Stadium, beating Auburn 30-24. I was absolutely floored when Auburn, because Tennessee just wasn't that good. Wasn't really. I want to say that might have been the same year that Tennessee lost to Georgia State. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. And you know, those kind of losses just doesn't sit well with me. But anyway, when you look at this season as well, Auburn actually has their rival Georgia as the second game of the season. First time that I can recall that has ever happened. And then you got some really interesting stuff going on in later in the season. You got Tennessee, the game against Tennessee in November, which is uncharacteristic of that particular game. I'm kind of used to that game being in late September, early October. And then for the first time, at least as long as I can, you know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's go back to the days of the PlayStation college football, EA Sports college football video game. Can't think of the name of it right. NCAA football. This is that kind of season where you got Texas A&M as your last game of the year after Alabama. I remember playing dynasties with NCAA football. Stuff like that would happen, and I thought it was kind of weird to see Texas A&M as the last game of the year. Kind of took me back to the PlayStation days where you had NCAA football. But I think it's going to be a very interesting season. A lot of folks are thinking, well, what about the national? Who cares? I just want to see some football. I don't care about the national championship, whoever wins. Personally, I don't. Be great if Auburn won it, but I'm looking for some football entertainment. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.